Oye mira, imagine for a moment walking through life in shoes that don't fit. Every step is a constant reminder that the world sees you differently than you see yourself. This is the daily reality for many in the LGBTQIA+ community, where the simple act of using correct pronouns can be a struggle, a battle for recognition in a society often blinded by rigid patriarchal norms. Think of your name, the cornerstone of your identity. How would it feel if the world insisted on calling you by a different name, one that doesn't resonate with who you are? Misusing pronouns can be just as jarring and dismissive as this. It's not just a linguistic oversight, it's a denial of someone's true self. Patriarchy, a system deeply woven into the fabric of our society, has long dictated strict gender roles and identities, fostering a culture where deviation from these norms is met with resistance, misunderstanding, or even hostility. This cultural framework has not only stifled individual expression, but also perpetuated a cycle of hate and exclusion against those who dare to live authentically. Imagine a world where everyone is seen, acknowledged, and respected for who they truly are. A world where pronouns are used correctly, not just as a matter of courtesy, but as an affirmation of one's identity. It's not that our society has become soft, but we are maturing. This conversation isn't just about language, it's about humanity. It's about breaking down the barriers erected by patriarchal views and building a culture of inclusivity and understanding. Now, there's no doubt that there is a large subset of humanity that lives in a perpetuated state of hatred when it comes to individuals who live differently than they do. Now, while it's important to understand and empathize with individuals who live in said spaces and understand that they have been raised in environments that were filled with emotional immaturity and insecurities, it is our responsibility to continue perpetuating our growth as a society, especially as we move towards a world with AI. Hateful ideologies embedded in societal norms within our culture is so easy to drag into this new technical advancement within AI. And it is extremely important that we recognize these toxic ideologies and are able to deconstruct them using the power of technology. You're probably asking yourself, Christian, what the hell does this have to do with AI? But picture this. You're passing through an airport security checkpoint equipped with the latest facial recognition technology. However, the system struggles to correctly identify individuals who don't conform to traditional gender expressions. It incorrectly flags them, leading to uncomfortable and unnecessary security checks. It's a stark example of how AI can inadvertently reinforce rigid gender norms, impacting the dignity and the freedom of the LGBTQIA+ community. Allow me to take a step back for a second. A lot of my audience members are not going to be activists or even tech activists. A lot of individuals who come to this podcast come so that they can learn something new. I want to remind everyone that this podcast is a safe space for everybody. Let's debunk some myths about gender for a second, because it's often mistaken as a static binary, when in reality, it's in a dynamic and fluid spectrum. If you're wondering what that means, it simply means that it's not confined to the rigid male and female categories that patriarchal systems have long insisted upon. Gender fluidity acknowledges that one's experience of gender can shift and change over time, not necessarily aligning with the sex assigned at birth. It's a journey of self-discovery where individuals might identify as male, female, both, neither, or anywhere along the gender spectrum. Believe it or not, that's a gross oversimplification of what's actually at play. Because to explain the scenario described using the lens of X and Y chromosomal science, it's essential to understand the limitations and nuances of how biological sex and gender identity are conceptualized, especially in the context of AI and technology. Let's talk briefly about the biological sex and chromosomal science that happens within our chromosomes. Humans typically have 46 chromosomes, including one pair of sex chromosomes. Biological sex is often determined by the presence of X and Y chromosomes. Typically, individuals with XX chromosomes are biologically female, and those with XY are biologically male. However, this is an oversimplification, as there are variations like XXY and XYY and XO. leading to diverse conditions such as the Klinefelter syndrome and Turner syndrome. It's crucial to note that while chromosomes play a role in determining biological sex, they do not dictate gender identity, because gender identity is a personal, internal sense of being male, female, a blend of both, neither, or anywhere along the gender spectrum. When AI systems, particularly those in social media apps, rely heavily on binary biological data like X and Y chromosomal information for personalized content, they inherently lack the understanding of the full spectrum of gender identities. This reliance can lead to misgendering or failing to recognize non-binary and other gender identities. For example, an AI algorithm programmed to associate XX with female or XY with male will struggle to accurately address or represent individuals who do not conform to these binary categories. This includes intersex individuals, transgender individuals who may or may not undergo hormone therapy or surgery that alters their secondary sexual characteristics, and non-binary individuals who do not identify exclusively as male or female. In the scenario that I just described, the AI's misgendering or failure to recognize non-binary identities is a manifestation of its programming limitations. It truly highlights a significant gap in how AI understands human gender diversity, relying on a rudimentary and binary interpretation of X and Y chromosomal data. Let's be real here. This issue is more than just a technical flaw. It reflects a deeper societal issue where non-binary and gender diverse individuals are often overlooked and misunderstood. AI, in this case, is perpetuating these biases, which can have profound psychological impacts on individuals who constantly face misrecognition or erasure of their identity. To address this, AI systems need to move beyond simplistic biological determinants and incorporate a more nuanced understanding of gender. This is going to involve programming AI to recognize self-identified gender pronouns and names, as well as creating algorithms that are sensitive to diverse ways individuals express and identify their gender. Inclusivity in AI also means involving gender-diverse individuals in the design and development process to ensure these systems are reflective of and responsive to the full spectrum of human gender identities. It's extremely important that I identify and discuss these specific topics within this conversation, because we live in a world where many individuals believe that this is some sort of hocus-pocus, made-up nonsense, when in reality, it's just science. I'm a firm believer that ignoring the reality of science is akin to closing one's eyes to the vast canvas of human existence. It is to deny ourselves the privilege of witnessing the intricate and magnificent tapestry that is humanity, in all its diverse and splendid forms. That's going to do it for me today. My name is Christian Ortiz, and this is Cape On, a tech activist podcast. If you would like to contribute to the conversation, collaborate, or just need a safe space to learn, welcome home. Until next time, Cape On.